The black man is an ass-obsessed individual. And he's controlled by his lower nature. He don't wake up with any plans, any goals, and any aspirations. The black man don't have a struggle. He wake up to feel good every day. Whether they're smoking a blunt, popping pills, seeking likes. The black man is way worse off than he was a year ago in America. He still don't own nothing.
Would you say because of our situation that we probably inherit poverty, so therefore we might be stuck?
I didn't. My mother wasn't poor. Yeah, I wasn't born in an impoverished community. My mother was high upper middle class. She wasn't above the poverty line or right below it. So
hold on, before we learn about Charleston White's financial situation growing up, I would like to comment on a few of the things that he said at the beginning, because I disagree. I think that's what our culture normalizes, and I think that's what is perceived, but I don't think that's the norm. I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I definitely know black men who live a life that's led by pleasure. I will agree to that. But this idea of popping pills and not having no plans for themselves, I don't know men like that. I don't surround myself with men, black, white, whatever, that aren't purposeful, that aren't driven. I don't know men like that personally. But I think it's an image thing. I really do. I think that's what the perception of most black men are. I think the perception of most black men are that they aren't very driven or that they aren't very hardworking, which is absolutely false. I completely disagree with the notion that black men aren't hardworking. I would actually argue that they are some of the hardest working people in the country, actually. I would argue that most of us are. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act as if our economics reflect that, but especially especially those of us who are able to rise above a lot of the things that we have to deal with and contend with in the world and actually make something of ourselves. Those men work extremely hard. So yeah, I'm not really too sure what he's talking about. As far as the interviewer's question on us inheriting poverty, listen, the fact of the matter is, I didn't grow up in a middle class household, right? Like, I didn't grow up in a household where, listen, we didn't always get the food that we want. We didn't always get the snacks that we wanted, right? We didn't always get what we wanted for birthdays and Christmases and things of that nature, right? But we had phones, we had technology, we had internet, we had cable. To act as if a lot of black people today don't have resources when most of us are walking around with $1,000 phones in our pockets and shit like that. I think it's a little bit disingenuous to act as if we all just inherited poverty. It's the generational curse argument, which I'm not going to sit here and say that there aren't some things that aren't inherited, because there are, right? There are definitely traumas that are passed down and that keep reoccurring, but the information is out there. We're in the freest state as black people in this country that we've ever been. So if you're not utilizing certain resources, if you're not utilizing that $1,000 phone in your pocket to better yourself, to better, educate or whatever the case may be, to me, that is completely on you.
Well, most blacks are either right below it, at it, or right above it. So two wrong, make 2 weeks of mismanaging your money, you below the poverty line.
Facts.
Yeah, go put a down payment on a car and you below the poverty line.
And a lot of, one thing that we don't talk about, this is not even just a black people thing, but it's an American thing. Most Americans, your average American doesn't even have $1,000 in their bank account. I don't know the stats specifically for black people, but most black people that I know personally are not very good with money in the sense of investing and saving and holding and retaining their money. I actually think there's a stat that the black dollar circulates quicker than any other nationality or racist dollar in the country, meaning while it might take days after other groups of people in the country get paid for their dollar to be circulating back in the market, buying things, going out, shopping, eating out, whatever the case may be, the black dollar is right back in the market like that. To paint a clearer picture, let's say you're paid by Friday, but let's say you paid Friday, you're broke by Saturday. To paint a better picture of what I'm trying to illustrate for you guys. So I don't quite agree with Charleston White. I do think that Charleston White is a very polarizing figure. I don't agree with a lot of the things that he says. Or no, I shouldn't say it like that. I don't agree with everything that he says. He can definitely, I've heard him say some pretty outrageous things, even admitting to, or allegedly admitting to sexually assault, to sexual assault. All types. I've heard him say all types of crazy stuff. I don't know if it's satire. I don't know if it's a joke. That's why I had to put alleged in there. Got to protect myself. You feel me? But no, I think, I do think too many men in our community, although I don't think it's the majority, I do think too many men in our community are led by their lower value pleasures. Trying to fuck bitches, trying to get high, trying to get some fast money. Remember, we watched a video sometime last week about a guy literally trying to get young black men employed, and they're like, "Oh, Unc, we just trying to get a quick dollar, man. We ain't listen. I can't." They made up every excuse in the book as to why they couldn't go to work. Every excuse in the book as to why they couldn't go clock in. Even though they had somebody giving them an opportunity, when there's somebody somewhere in the country begging for a job right now, especially in this job market right now. So I think that was insane. That was insane. But again, I think too long we've allowed certain narratives to be painted about black men that just simply aren't true. I don't believe this to be true. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. This is just purely my opinion. As you guys know, I'm young. I'm still learning. My perspectives over time is going to change. One thing that is not going to change is the mission and the goal, and that is to change and improve the image of black men and black people as a whole. But I would love to know your guys' opinion on this conversation. What are your guys' thoughts and opinions on Charleston White? I think he's a very interesting character. I don't agree with everything that he says, but I also don't necessarily dislike him. I don't know if he's necessarily somebody that everybody in the community should be gravitating towards and listening to, but he definitely does start some interesting conversations, and I do appreciate him for at least that. Credit to the original video will be in the description below, and yeah, sound off in the comments. It's your boy D, and I'm gone.